Welcome back. Honeybees are a cornerstone of the nation's agriculture, responsible for pollinating nearly 90 commercially grown crops. And of course, they're also responsible for a favorite sweet treat, honey. Kat Viglienzoni joins us this morning with a look at how bees fared in Vermont this year. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Julie. Good weather and good diet keeps bees healthy, and this year they actually had both. Beekeepers telling us while the population as a whole still does struggle, they have a good report for this year's honey production. Scott Wilson is a busy bee at his home in Moncton, managing these hives at Heavenly Honey Apiary. He says it's been a very good year for Vermont beekeeping, despite a rough start.
We had a long, cold winter from 2013 into 2014. There's quite a few beekeepers that lost 30 to 40 to 50% of their hives. But of those hives that did remain, we found that they've been very, very strong.
That winter die-off is normal, though, and beekeepers expect losses. Wilson says what set this year apart was the weather. Where last year it rained through the flowering season, making it hard for bees to fly and flowers to bloom, this year's conditions were perfect for bees to collect nectar and pollen to turn into honey.
This summer, I don't know about you, but the weather seemed to be just ideal. The right amount of rain, the right amount of sunshine.
But it isn't the summer that's the worry now. Keeping this hive alive through a Vermont winter is his next challenge. Soon, he'll wrap up these hives to help insulate them from the cold. Before then, he has to check the bees for parasites like mites.
Bees can fight a lot of viruses, but once that varroa mite starts to pierce their exoskeleton, then that mite also puts viruses into it as well.
No dangers for these hives, though. In fact, beekeepers have been reporting good numbers this year.
The reports that I'm getting are that people are at least better than average from where they were last year. And for us, we're probably close to double from where we were last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
More than double means that from his 30 hives, Wilson has harvested some 2,000 pounds of honey, compared to just 900 last year. All that honey coming from frames like these covered in honeycomb.
So far this year, I've done close to 1,500 of these.
Harvesting all that honey is sticky business. Wilson describes cutting the wax off the top like filleting a fish.
Try to get in there as best as you can to start, and just slowly come down. And you don't always get it all on one sheet, and that's okay. But you see as the wax comes off,
oh, that's beautiful.
All the honey is there.
As I found out, it's not as easy as it looks.
Oh man, I have a feeling I just mangled that.
Mangled or not, the frames are then put in this tank, which spins them faster and faster so that the honey flies off the combs. This tank, which is almost full of frames, will produce about 40 to 45 pounds of raw honey, Vermont's other liquid gold.
It's really good.
And that was good honey. Wilson's colonies are some of the 2.5 million that are around the United States today. But to put that into perspective, in 1947, there actually used to be about 6 million managed honeybee colonies. So right now, the EPA and the nation's Agriculture Department are pushing efforts to try to figure out what is causing these pollinators to decline. Julie?
You know, I have to wonder, what did they do with that wax? Because seeing it come off, it looked beautiful even as it was just falling off of that.
Right, they actually use it to make candles. His wife makes candles out of that extra beeswax that they have lying around.
Very cool. Thank you, Kat.